Now, in the case of mallet finger, there is one muscle that is of importance to us, which is the extensor digitorum. The extensor digitorum originates from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, and we're going to use this piece of material to represent the distal end of extensor digitorum. Now we're going to look at a simplified image of the tendons of flexor digitorum, and then we're going to look at them in more detail. So flexor digitorum again sends 4 tendons to each of the digits from digit number 2 to digit number 5, or from the index to little finger. And those tendons, as we will see, will insert on the base of the distal phalanx of each of these digits. In this manner. So these are the tendons of extensor digitorum. Okay, of course this is a simplified image because now we're going to talk in more details about what happens to these tendons on the dorsum of the hand. But as you can see, in general, extensor digitorum splits into 4 tendons. Okay, these tendons of course pass beneath the extensor retinaculum here, because there is no carpal tunnel on the dorsum of the hand, so they pass beneath a piece of connective tissue here, which is called the extensor retinaculum, like this. And then they go into the digits and insert into the base of the distal phalanx of each finger from number 2 to number 5, or from index to little finger. So now we can look at in more detail about the tendons of extensor digitorum, because they do not just simply go from the muscle into the finger like we've shown. That was a simplified image of things, but what happens exactly, so I'm gonna put this material here to represent just one tendon to simplify things. This is one tendon, or the tendon of extensor digitorum to the index finger. And what happens is that once the tendon reaches the dorsal surface of the digit, it actually expands on the dorsal surface. It expands like this, and it forms a structure called the dorsal expansion. So each one of these tendons is going to expand over the dorsum surface of the digit, forming what is known as the dorsal expansion here and on each digit, from number 2 to number 5. And the insertion, now towards the end, if we look here, this is the middle interphalangeal joint. When the tendon reaches the middle interphalangeal joint, it's going to split into 3 parts. First, we're going to have a central part, which will insert on the base of the middle phalanx. Okay, so this is the central part. But as we said before, the tendons of extensor digitorum, they insert on the base of the distal phalanx. So here's what happens actually. As we said here, the tendon splits into 3 parts. So this is the first part, which inserts into the base of the middle phalanx. The other 2 parts here on the sides, they're going to split like this into 2 slits. They're going to unite together, and then they are going to insert on the base of the distal phalanx. So this is what happens to the tendons of the extensor digitorum. So the tendon reaches the digit, it expands on the dorsal surface, forming the dorsal expansion. Then it separates into 3 parts. The central part inserts on the base of the middle phalanx, and the 2 lateral parts, they divide and then unite again to insert on the base of the distal phalanx. And this part here is the part that inserts on the distal phalanx. This terminal part here is called the terminal tendon, and this terminal tendon is of special importance for us in understanding mallet finger.